Okay, so let's dive into this pretty fascinating and honestly cautionary story of a medical college that promised excellence, but, well, delivered something else entirely. We're going to explore how an institution that was supposed to create doctors ended up in front of the Supreme Court and what that tells us about the really high stakes of private education.
So here's the thing. We're actually going to start this story at the end with this absolutely stunning decision from Pakistan's highest court that just sealed the fate of this entire institution. It's a dramatic climax for sure, and it really sets the stage for the whole story.
I mean, just think about that for a second. It's incredibly rare to hear something that scathing from a nation's chief justice. This isn't just criticism, it's a complete condemnation of a place that was supposed to be training the next generation of medical professionals. So there you have it, a medical college forcibly shut down by the Supreme Court. That one single action just makes you ask, right? How on earth did things get to this point? To understand that, we gotta rewind and go all the way back to the beginning. All right, let's go back in time and see how this whole thing got started. Because, on paper, it looked like a totally legitimate, even ambitious project. It seemed to have all the right ingredients for a really successful start. And yeah, you can see right here, it had a normal, promising start. It was founded, got a new name, and then boom, it quickly got all the necessary official stamps of approval from the big regulatory bodies. Everything seemed to be heading in the right direction. I mean, look at this. It had all the signs of a proper college, right? A physical location, a clear admissions policy for 100 students a year, multiple degree programs, and it was even getting recognized internationally. It was successfully attracting students with that big promise of a career in medicine. Okay, to really get what happened here, we have to look at the powerful promises the college was making. And we can do that by looking directly at the public message from its own principle. This was the vision they were selling. Wow, I mean, this is such a powerful statement, isn't it? The college presented itself not just as an educational institution, but as this noble, mission-driven organization. Just listen to the language here. Non-profitable, welfare of humanity. It paints a picture of an institution with a higher calling. And here's the detailed pitch. High standards, expert faculty, modern facilities. These are exactly the kinds of promises that would convince any aspiring doctor or their family to invest their future and a significant amount of money into this college. But this is where we see the first major crack in the facade. The principal's message was crystal clear. The college had its own 500-bed teaching hospital. But the reality? Well, their main teaching facility was a leased hospital with a much smaller capacity. This is a huge discrepancy between the promise and the reality. So, this is when the story takes a really dramatic turn. It's when the very people the college was meant to serve, the students, decided they had had enough. Those cracks in the foundation were getting way too big to ignore, and the students were the ones feeling the consequences. What could possibly happen to make medical students, who are typically just buried in their studies, take to the streets of the nation's capital and demand the attention of the highest court in the land? And there it is. This was the core of the betrayal. The students had fulfilled their end of the bargain. They'd paid their fees. But their path to becoming doctors was literally being blocked by the institution itself. I mean, it's one thing to have subpar facilities. It's another thing entirely to have your academic progress just completely halted. Okay, so now we're back in the courtroom where all of these issues came to a head. The students' protest brought official scrutiny, and the full extent of the college's failure was laid bare for everyone to see. The court uncovered a just staggering financial issue. It noted that over 48 million rupees, a huge sum of money, had been collected in student fees. And get this, allegedly without any receipts being issued. That immediately suggests a severe lack of transparency and financial accountability. So the court's actions were decisive, and they were threefold. First, punish the institution by closing it down. Second, investigate the administration for potential wrongdoing. And third, and maybe most importantly, protect the students whose futures were just hanging in the balance. And that brings us right back full circle to that devastating quote from the beginning. It now carries the full weight of the evidence we've just seen, the broken promises, the financial irregularities, and the ultimate failure to provide a basic medical education. It wasn't just an off-the-cuff remark. It was a final judgment. In the end, this story isn't just about a failed institution or a court case. It's a really powerful reminder of the human cost. The lost time, the wasted money, and the shattered dreams of 100 students per year who simply wanted to become doctors. It really leaves us with a critical question about accountability in education.